For more than 3,000 years, the foundation of Hinduism has been carefully preserved in India's most ancient Sanskrit texts. The oldest are the 4 books known as the Vedas, but there are additional manuscripts that expand on these teachings.
In addition to the Vedas, you have the epics. And the 2 great epics are the Mahabharata, literally the great story of Bharat. Bharat's an ancient name for India. Then you've got the Ramayana.
Many of the events that occur in the epics feature the Hindu gods, who are divided up into separate classes. The highest are the Devas, that include the trinity of Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, as well as other prominent Hindu gods, like Ganesha, Hanuman, and Indra.
There's widespread reference across all the texts to devas. The word deva comes from the Sanskrit root dev, to shine. So they are bright beings, shiny beings, if you will. They are gods, but with a small g. Who are they? The idea is they are just like us, sentient beings, but with extraordinary bodies and powers, a bit like the Marvel and DC comics superheroes. Generally, they are good and beneficent beings and advanced beings.
When we look at the sacred texts of the ancient Hindus, they describe humanity's interaction with the devas, and that they then begin to teach humanity how to use all kinds of things like making weapons and astronomy and the stars and so forth.
Curiously, Hindu accounts of the Devas are nearly identical to a race of divine beings found in mythological texts across the world.
In Sanskrit, devas literally means light beings or the shining ones. This immediately brings to mind stories of the Tuatha De Danann, who are a divine race of beings in Irish mythology. Like the Devas, the Tuatha De Danann are described as light beings who descended from the sky in whirlwinds and brought with them the arts and knowledge of civilization. Also, the Anunnaki, who were the sky gods of the ancient Sumerians, were similarly described as having a luminous appearance. So we have to ask the question, is it possible that the beings described in the Vedas are the same beings that came to Earth, visited numerous cultures in the ancient world, and this is exactly what the ancients recorded throughout time?
For ancient astronaut theorists, one of the most compelling aspects of the Hindu stories is that the gods travel in flying machines called Vimana, which are described in great detail.
The Vimanas are aerial vehicles that were able to travel faster than what the eye could see, or they could cloak themselves to become invisible. To me, those are not spiritual vehicles. Why would God need a vehicle with which to move from point A to point B? But they're in fact technological vehicles, vehicles that our ancestors saw in physical form and tried to describe what they witnessed.
These were machines that could fly. They would hold different people. They were pilots. The Vimanas themselves would have weapons, just like modern fighter aircraft and bombers and things like that. And the Vimanas were brightly lit, and that's talked about in the Mahabharata, that people would see giant lights in the sky. There's a number of Vedic texts that are talking about Vimanas, and some get very technical, in fact. One of the things that it talks about is an engine that has mercury in it.
There's been a lot of speculative physics work done on creating flowing baths of mercury in a vortex where it's spinning around, and you put it in the right electromagnetic fields, and it creates strange torsions such that you could create a propulsive force. And I find it really intriguing that the Vimanas, the way some of them are described for flying in air, some of them are described as being used in water. A lot of this reminds me of videos that I've analyzed of modern UAP.
Modern-day UFO videos show vehicles that can just stop or change direction immediately at G-forces that we could not survive. In the ancient Vedic texts, the exact same descriptions exist. They are not only aerial vehicles, but also vehicles with which to reach the realm of the gods. Then you have to ask yourself, well, wait a second, what did they try to describe here? The answer is that the ancient Hindus tell us that they were actual physical machines. For all intents and purposes, they describe modern-day UFOs.